Here's a video on using assignments through Canvas. Okay, so you can pause the video and read over some of these benefits here, and then press play when you're ready to continue. Okay, so I'm going to hop into one of my courses and take a look at assignments here. Okay, so if you click on assignments, this is where you can click create an assignment. Plus assignment means to add an assignment. When you're in your modules, you don't want to just directly add Google Docs that are supposed to be as assignments without actually creating a formal assignment, because as on the little PowerPoint slide, the idea is that it ties it to the gradebook and you can annotate all from within Canvas. It shows up on their student assignment list, their to-do list, and in their calendar. So think about the student workflow as well. Use assignments for anything that is graded and sometimes even ungraded. All right, so if I click plus to add an assignment, and I'm going to just call this tester assignment, and you can follow along if you'd like, and just so you can delete this after. I don't know what assignment I'm on. I think I'm on, well, I'm just going to go with number 4. I've been playing around with this in some demos. All right, you can provide a description. You want to avoid, remember, Google Docs is really a great way of integrating, is the thing to do with integration into Canvas, because it's a live active document. You want to avoid using this for an assignment because there's something better that you'll probably like. So for example, you can set your points to whatever. This is the grading categories, which we haven't even gotten into exploring yet. So it's just like in PowerSchool. The names will pretty much have to match up with whatever's in PowerSchool. So I don't have these created, and we'll have to show you that in another video. Here's this option here. All right, now this one, if you want them to just type in a text box, so maybe it's an exit slip. List 2 things you learned today and 1 new question that you have. Well, text entry might be fine. Use a website URL. You can have them submit an audio or video file, and you can have them do a file upload like a PDF. But remember, we really want to be Google-based. Electronic documents. Number of attempts. There you go. This is a group assignment. Now, this doesn't work for group assignments, do not work in the 2 ways that I'm going to show you in terms of grading, but there's a workaround for it. Just ask us about it. You can require peer reviews. These are all things that you'll have to explore. The assign to date. Okay, if you have your sections cross-listed, you can do them all at once, or if you have different sections that will be doing the assignment on different days, you can click here and you'll see it in the the drop-down list. The due dates. So that quite simply is the date that you really want the students to have it turned in by. So let's just say we want them to have it turned in really by the 19th. But you want it available because the day you assign it is the 17th. All right, so that's fine. So essentially it gives them 2 days before they really should turn it in. However, you know that some students might turn it in late, and you don't really want to mess with having this lock out prematurely. So what you could do is maybe you could give them to like the end of the week, whatever, okay? Or the weekend as well. So I just did the Friday right there. So that means on this day, the assignment will lock out and they won't be able to submit it anymore. So keep that in mind. But this is the day that it shows up in their assignment lists and everywhere else. And this is the date you really want to do. So teachers do these a little differently. Okay. Now, a little pro tip for you. You're going to have students that want to turn something in even after the lock date, which is what I call this date. Instead of changing it for everyone here, you know what to do? Click the Add button and then find that student, for example, like right there, and then specify a new set of dates. That way, not everyone else isn't getting like a whole new set of dates. So a little pro tip on that. So I'm going to come back up here. Now, what I would recommend, there's two options, and one we are still trying to get working, is if I look at how do you want to do this? Online, no submission. You can do on paper, which isn't really practical during remote learning, of course. External tool. If you go with that, and then you click the Find button, you scroll down Google Drive Cloud Assignment. Click to select that. Find the assignment that you want to embed, for example. So this is my Google Drive. I have a folder called Classes to Share with Students that has permissions of anyone with a link can view. So I'm finding an assignment in my Google Drive. Let's try this multiplication modulo. So you select that, you click Submit. So now I click Select. All right, and so if you've done everything else, if you come down here to Save, just saves it. If you want it to be visible based off of these visibility dates, then you can go with Save and Publish. So I click that. And this is a little example on how this would show up. Okay, this is embedded. And what happens is, this is great. It creates a copy of this in their own Google folder on their drive and in the class folder. So that's one of the benefits. So they could edit it, and then this isn't the student interface, but then they could submit it. In their interface, they'll have a submit button up there. So really neat. There's no copying the document, which we're all used to, and it goes into their class folder on their drive. One thing about these two ways that I'm showing you, if I go back to Edit Assignment Settings, is that it disallows for group assignments. Okay, that's a feature that's in Canvas, which is probably a whole nother topic. But that's just one way. That's called the Google Cloud integration. All right, so I'm going to show you yet another way. If I click on Add an Assignment, Tester Assignment, number 5, okay? And so let's say, I select my category, weight, points. Instead of the external tool that we used before, if I use Google Assignments LTI. Now, if you are a previous Google Classroom user, you will probably take to this because you're used to it, and there are some pluses. Google Assignments LTI, click Select. By the way, this was available in the last screen as well. For the other thing, you could have done that. Here's your typical things here that I showed you before. If I go down to, set a date, and I don't have to specify those, but it's good to. And I go Save and Publish. What's going to happen is, yes, you get this error, which we're in the process of trying to get that fixed. Catherine is on with tech support to see how we can get this successfully integrated, but I'm just pointing that out, that is an option as well. Now, SpeedGrader is pretty awesome, and so there's pluses and minuses to both those methods of doing it. Let me see if I could show you. Do I have an assignment up that I could show you here? Here's an assignment here. This was a handout that they needed to complete. They filled in their answers. You can provide comments. You can score it. You can annotate it with some of the tools up here. We're going to do probably a separate video on SpeedGrader. But the point is, you want to use the assignments feature of Canvas because it can be graded and it shows up in their assignment list and a bunch of other places. So that's our recommendation. Make sure you're using tasks that you want students to do, whether it be graded or ungraded. Use the assignment aspect of Canvas.